where there's just it's in there now. It's very flowery, mate.
Thanks, mate. And we don't even have a wardrobe planner or anything, but we kind of match tonight, don't we?
Yeah, I mean they say pink and red doesn't really go, but yeah, we can say we match.
Yeah, we look all right, mate. We look all right. I'll take it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Got a lovely trade today. Bitcoin.
Don't peek too early, boo-boo. Don't peek too early.
I might peek too early.
I can give them a plug because they don't sell it in the UK.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Can you ask them to promote our group now as well?
That would be pretty cool.
It's only fair if you're promoting them.
A little bit of sunshine in the UK and everybody's in a good mood. Look, Joanna's always in a good mood, but you both look so summery. Take that. I'll take that. And she's not in the toilet hiding today, apparently. So, Tony James in the house. Good to have you with us, my friend. Facebook user, how rude. Please identify yourself. Please click on the link to StreamYard so that we can see a picture and your name. That would be lovely.
I really hope Al Pacino turns up again.
Don't bank on it, mate. But we have got Kevin, and that's a pretty cool name. Kevin Vagala.
I love the way the hand has to come up.
Vagala. It's just an instinctive reaction.
You don't say Andy Demi, do you? No.
Kevin's joined the crypto course. Wow. Great to have you with us, mate. Awesome.
Oh, well done, Kevin. I think, Kevin, are you VJ's friend? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
I think. I might be completely wrong.
Well, it's glad that we can hear your thoughts, mate. When you say it out loud. Whoever's friend you are, you're now part of our friend group.
Absolutely.
Is private Crypto Like a Pro alumni. That's it. That's all you need. Another alumni, Dominicus. Congratulations to Dominicus, by the way, as well. He started with, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, he started with $500. He just posted in our private group. He's doubled that. He's doubled his account to $1,000.
Great job.
Good man. For a total beginner as well. That's amazing. So well done, sir. What were you going to say?
No, what I really particularly like about it is that he was, by his own admission, he was struggling a little bit, but he overcame it and just kept going. And that's the key to trading. If it all worked out exactly as we wanted it every single time, it would be wonderful. But unfortunately, it doesn't. So I think it's always about how you bounce back. Always.
It would also be rather boring as well, wouldn't it? It would also be rather boring, to be fair.
It would be, yeah. It would be.
So,
I think most people would choose it, but it would be boring, yeah.
You'd definitely choose it for a while, wouldn't you? You'd load the crap out of it, and you'd be like, no stop loss, no risk management.
No, you're a quadrillionaire, and you're like bored out of your mind. Might as well just do some drugs, and
That's one avenue. That's one avenue you can go down like this, man.
What I'm trying to say, that's why it's difficult that people don't go towards drugs. It's just really that simple.
That was the weirdest don't do drugs, kids, stay in school speech I've ever heard.
Well, you have to do it in a different way because everyone says it the same way.
Apart from you, clearly. Apart from you. So if you are new to the show and you're new to the group, big hello. My name's Gavin, the host. This is the man, the myth, the legend, our resident trader who we're getting him every day at the moment. This is awesome. So let's get a bit of housekeeping out of the way. Our competition. Who comments first? Slavomir's back on top.
Well done, Slavomir.
On form, you would say the rightful place. Just on form, on current form. But I always like to go for the underdog. Always like to go for the underdog. So, we've got to knock him off his spot next week when we're back on. Back on next Monday, midday, Pips Like a Pro. Midday Tuesday, Crypto Like a Pro. And today is midday, which means we get to talk about the C word. Boom.
Awesome. We are free to talk here. It's a safe space. It's a safe space, yeah.
It really is. So there's a lot of interesting things going on in the crypto world. And obviously, you know, you can watch YouTube, you can get your own interpretations, but to actually get the understanding from the mindset of a professional trader with over 18 years experience in institutions and hedge funds, that's where the gold is, my friends. And that's obviously why you're tuning in. If you're watching the reruns, then great. Type in your question as well, and we'll try and get back round to it as well. So we've got 29 people on the live right now. 1 thumbs up. If you can keep the thumbs up, that'll be great. If you can keep the comments coming in as well for the algorithm juice, it will spread us out through Facebook and keep our group growing. We've got our next target to hit 3,000 members in the private group. And yeah, if you can help us do that, then we'd very much appreciate that. So with that being said, all things cryptos, a strange world that we're in at the moment. So I hear that it's pretty important at the moment, this range of 60,000 that Bitcoin's at, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment it's finding resistance there. But I think it's just a matter of time before it goes. I took a nice trade this morning, but I'm not buying and holding, I'm just trading. So pretty much caught it just before it went, literally just before it popped. I bought it and it just went bang. 30 minutes later, it's basically got to the profit target. And I'll be honest, I'm out now, pretty much where it is now. The reason why, you can definitely buy and hold Bitcoin and just have have it as an investment, but because I do believe it's going to go higher. But every kind of key level, it just needs a breather. And whether it's going to go now or retrace, I don't know, but I think it's more likely to go. But I like trading the day's range. Like if you look at today's daily bar, it doesn't typically do more than what it's done today, right? So you look at it, it's a big bar up. How much more are we going to get today? Well, it could be an outlier, and we could have an extreme day. Absolutely, it's possible. But we're playing high probability, and I reckon I've caught the move that is what I'd want to catch every day. And so yeah, so it's a kind of like I'm with Bitcoin in particular, because it's so expensive. It's the highest market cap coin. I prefer to trade it, and I prefer to buy coins that have got more growth potential, and some stable coins as well. But not so much Bitcoin. I've been trading it more than holding it.
Yeah, which makes sense. But just to cover that, why would you trade it rather than hold it for any beginners that are here?
Well, you can, using a futures account, you can use leverage. So this morning, I literally had, I had some money in my futures account. Initially I just put $1,000 in, and then I caught Bitcoin the other day, and it was like $1,890 in the account. And so I just literally bought 0.4 Bitcoin this morning and made a quick sort of $748 in literally 30 minutes with only having 1,890 in my account. So that's basically like it's like nearly 50% of the amount of money that I had. If you buy it outright, I don't know what the maths is like, but to buy 0.4 Bitcoin, you're looking at say 25 grand in your account. So I'm able to make the same amount of money as somebody who's basically investing 25 grand, and I'm able to do it with literally having just over 1,800 in my account. So
now, on that note, normally people wouldn't like a bragger. It's very un-British to be a bragger. and for people to like it. But I bet right now everybody's doing this. Who's watching this?
Or just throwing stuff at their screens.
Don't throw it at the TV. Don't throw it at the TV. It's going to cost you money. But fair play, my friend. That's awesome. And that's where, we come here. We're a group. We're part of the 2%. There's less than 2% of the population is even aware of what cryptos are, let alone kind of tentatively taking action. And then there are the outliers, of which there's people in this group, and especially you, my friend. So that is awesome to do that. And how the world is changing, that people are able to do this. And that's the bit that I salute the most about this whole situation at the moment. Yes, it's unstable. Yes, it's very volatile. But look at that, what you're doing. It's like, for your personality type especially, it's perfect, right?
It is, yeah. And yes, cryptos are volatile, but I think I've said this before. I think the biggest thing when you're running a portfolio of cryptos and you're investing and you're using margin, and therefore, and I've seen people post, I don't want to mention names, like say, oh, it's stressful. Like people have said, oh, it's stressful to use margin or leverage. It really isn't. It's not stressful if you're well planned. If you have correct expectations. So I always have a 20% correction in my mind that can happen. And that's kind of my limit. So wherever my account is today, I factor in that, yes, I'll manage my portfolio. I'll move things around. I'll try and do my bit. Of course, I have to do that. I have to say, right, this coin is overvalued. I could borrow some money over here. I need to do all those kind of things to work out where I should put my money. But ultimately, if you are net long and the market's going up, you're making money. And if you're net long and the market's going down, you're generally losing money, because especially if you've got, even if you've got a wide variety, diversified portfolio, most of them are going down. If the overall market's going down, you're going to lose money in that pullback. And it's just making sure that you understand, and you're not going to get margin calls because you've got enough of a buffer. So 20% correction is pretty normal. I've experienced about 4 or 5 of them, probably in this bull run. But my account has grown way more than those corrections. So, but you can tweak that, and you can say, well, I'm only comfortable with 10% corrections, and all you do is you just reduce your position size. So, and that's basically what I'm doing more and more now. Is like, I don't need to necessarily have such big corrections anymore, because I've grown my account, and the bigger your account becomes, the less of drawback you kind of want. So once it starts to get to sort of much bigger numbers. So that's why kind of like, sometimes people ask us in the F word. We shouldn't mention the F word here. But, how much can you make, on a serious note, how much can you make in FX or whatever? And we always say, like, look, 10% a month is pretty normal in FX. If you're trading, let's say, a smallish account, so less than 6 figures, let's say. But when you go into millions of pounds, you don't make that. Why? Not because there's no liquidity, just simply you just reduce your risk, because people don't want to risk that much. When you're managing 100 million, you're not going to risk 10 million a month, are you? You don't need to. You don't need to risk that much. So you cut your position size, and you maybe risk 1 or 2 million a month to make 1 or 2 million. So it's the same. Like, that should be the path. If you're starting small, you may want to take a higher risk approach to grow that account. So accept the higher drawdown, but as it grows, you probably want to start to adjust that and move a little bit more into spot and reduce your margins a little bit, and absolutely trade. And that's one thing, by the way, I've spoken about it before. You can short trade if you're expecting a correction. So then if your portfolio is pulling back, you're making money in your futures account. And I do that sometimes.
Awesome. So just checking in with a few more comments. Tony is in the house. Again, another alumni who is pretty new to the whole crypto and trading malarkey. He's up $600 this morning. Rocky is in the ring.
He's absolutely amazing. Brilliant. I can't believe I was struggling. He's just like a money machine now.
Sab's in the house again. Are we live? Yes, this is not pre-recorded. we are here in the flesh. Good to have you with us, my friend. And also Jesse's in the house as well. Hi to Jesse. Thanks a lot for tuning in. So with that being said, also as well, I forgot to say, you can also catch us on YouTube as well. So we're broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. And Neil's just said he saw the news that Coinbase will get listed on the NASDAQ tomorrow.
That's very good for the space. That's very good for the space.
Again, it's just going to snowball the awareness, isn't it? Snowball the awareness. So the 2% may be 2.5% by the end of the week, right?
Do you know what? Like, it's really funny. We say it like, oh, this is still very, very new, very, very raw. It doesn't feel like it, because I've been involved in crypto since 2017 is when I started to buy stuff and, just get a bit of an interest. Obviously now it's a little bit more than that, but so it feels like a fair amount of time, that's a few years. But I still, like, I was speaking to my sister the other day, and I was saying to her, she may be getting sort of, actually, no, I won't mention things. But anyway, she was looking at investments and looking at sort of different things. And I sort of said, look, you should buy, if you want something safe, buy Ethereum, buy Bitcoin. Don't keep your money in your bank. And she was still like very unaware, like, oh, I've heard about cryptos. And she works in the city. She works in a big financial institution. So it just amazes me how many people are not involved, and in this space. It's crazy. Like, and that's somebody who's in my family who doesn't really even know much about it. Maybe we should speak more, to be fair.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's that whole brotherly and sisterly love thing going on, right?
I don't like to give investment advice, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. But if you're anything like me, my sister and I we were like cats and dogs for most of the time growing up, and now we're like really close, which is amazing. So yeah, we've just I always take the time to try and someone that's made the effort to do a first time comment. We love new comments. We love our usual viewers, but we love new people as well. So finally get to join ! Don't know if my name ever shows up. No, it still doesn't show up. It's Zara. Looking forward to this. Thank you very much for being with us. It would be great if we could see your picture. Click on the StreamYard link, and then us and the rest of the group will be able to see you. And that's a very good point. Wrong button. Because the banking system don't want us to know about it. Now, we can't talk too much about that in case Facebook shuts us down, but I definitely think that's the thing. Once Bitcoin gets over a certain level, it's showing that people have got more faith in cryptos. What is going to happen then? If all the money gets taken out of banks, where does that leave the fiat money system? Who knows?
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of, I mean, it's always been like this though. Like if you listen to mainstream news, you may as well be watching EastEnders. Like, literally,
Pat Butcher, I just bought $1 million worth of crypto. Come here, Pat.
Honestly,
if you don't know EastEnders and Pat Butcher, that's wasted on you. I apologize. Sorry.
No, it's fantastic. I don't really know EastEnders myself that much, but it's literally like most of the stuff that they just feed you what they need you to hear. So the mainstream, you will never get the information that you need. And it also scares people off. So it's important. You're much better off doing your own research, using YouTube, finding credible people to learn from, to learn what's really going on. And don't be scared. Don't be scared off, because these big institutions that were saying that Bitcoin's a scam are now heavily invested in it. JP Morgan comes to mind, Morgan Stanley comes to mind, I can't remember their names, the one of their sort of big reps, but they were all kind of like putting people off, and now they're all fully invested in it. So what does that tell you?
Even Goldman Sachs as well, right? They were really against it. But the funny thing is, there's some guys that have set up a coin. They were the lead tech team on creating the coin for Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. So that pretty much tells us a lot of what we need to know, that they're pushing one thing out, but actually in the background they're trying to do that. So I don't know who that was that said that comment, because you're not logged in either. But yeah, that is a great point. And also another thing, a lot of people are wondering this. We said that we'd answer your questions as well. We're going to get into some content and hopefully show you a trading setup as well. But in the meantime, it's great to hear your questions, because so many people have got different questions on different levels. This is an interesting one. Please, can you explain what Bitcoin mining is, and is it profitable?
Well, I mean, to mine Bitcoin now, it's so expensive, so expensive. Like the kind of machinery that you would need, it's not for the everyday person to do that. You're talking about a lot of money to be able to do that. Now you can mine other coins if you wish to. I'll be honest, I used to do it. I used to have a setup, and it can be profitable. Obviously, it just depends on your electricity costs, and also you don't even look at, like, it kills. I mean, you're using sort of graphics cards, and obviously they cost money. And if you keep them running continuously, they will need to be replaced. And graphics cards are not cheap, so you can do it, especially in coins that you believe have got upside. So obviously, up until now, Ethereum has been a great one to mine versus Bitcoin. However, that's going to change. That's going to change in July. So that's, with Ethereum 2.0, that's not going to be the case anymore. So yeah, I would if you're gonna mine, I would go with cheaper coins that you think have got upside, and you're mining. Yeah, I mean, you're probably, for the effort, it might be worth it, but you have to do the maths of where you think it's going to go and how much it's costing you to mine and how many coins you're mining and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't do Bitcoin, but certainly. And one other option that people have taken, again, it's not something I've ever done personally, but you can look it up, is I believe it's still available. Somebody here may be able to confirm, is cloud mining. So again, you've got to be careful not to get scammed, but you can be part of a group and then get paid as part of the pool. It's called cloud mining, and you have to pay a monthly fee. But I'm not an expert on this, so I don't want to kind of give you too much information.
Interesting. Now let's just backtrack a little bit, because I know there will be a certain amount of people either watching live or on the replay. What's mining? So what's the brief synopsis on what it actually is, like the simple layman's term?
It's just used to secure the network. So basically, it's just an algorithm, and your computer's helping do the calculations to basically secure it. That's all it is. And we need computer software and hardware to be able to do that. And it's just kind of pooling everybody's computers into one. And then it kind of, that's basically the framework of blockchain technology. And that's essentially that. This is what cryptocurrencies are. So they're run with this blockchain, and they're secured by computers. And so you just become part of it, part of that process. And it's something that I'll be honest, when I first heard about, I didn't really understand, but that's all it's doing basically. So it's just using your resources, your PC, to help with the calculations and to secure the blockchain. And that's the framework of what the cryptocurrency is running on.
And especially now, as we get more better technology, better use of the blockchain, like even Bitcoin, its actual use is not that great. There's so many other coins and projects that are far more efficient. But I was speaking to a guy the other day who knows a guy, and he had a Bitcoin mining rig.
Yeah.
If you got an alert.
No, I'm just looking to see where.
Just doing your Rain Man impression.
Yes.
So he had a Bitcoin rig, $250,000. Guess how much it cost him in electricity every month? His friend.
Don't know. How much?
$10,000 a month just for the electricity to run the mining rig, and it collapsed after 4 years. So we got 4 years worth out of it, and it was costing him 10 grand a month in electricity bills.
That's the thing. Yeah. I think if you're really, really that way inclined and you're very, very techie, you might find clever ways of doing it. There probably are. But yeah, I mean, I just focus on what I'm good at.
Well, yeah, exactly. So the other option is, instead of all of that time and effort and money, you've done the same thing as what someone who had 25K or 20 to 25K this morning invested into Bitcoin, and you've managed to leverage that. So if you're just catching in the show, that's where we were with that. So that's awesome. So for people that want to, they're interested, but they're not sure what to do next. What are some of the things, like what are some of the basics that they need to know that they can go away and kind of just start doing some things on, and just deciding if they want to take more interest, and maybe might even want to go ahead and do some action themselves. So what would be some of the things on how to pick a good coin or a good project?
Well, that's not an easy question to answer, but there's so much to it. But if you, it depends how you kind of want to approach it. The fundamental part has got some validity, because if you're going to invest in something, you kind of want to understand where it might fit in a future world that we have to kind of imagine. So, like, how can it fit in? But, like, firstly, you have to understand how cryptos are changing the world and what the world could look like. That's the first thing. And then you've got to look at projects that you think, well, how is this going to help solve a problem? I personally prefer, it's about the value that a crypto is going to offer. So I prefer something that, like Ethereum, like Cardano, where applications have to be built on top of it, because that means that if that becomes, say, if Ethereum is the mainstay, for example, then if that's going to be, well, people are saying, no, there's not going to be one winner. So Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum are basically trying to solve the same problem, where apps are going to be built on top of that smart contract technology. So you can invest in those type of platforms where things are going to be built on top. So there's going to be massive value in that cryptocurrency. So the more cryptos that are built on top of that network, the more valuable that network becomes. So those are great. So that makes sense. So smart contracts are essentially a very, very big part of the future. No doubt about that. And then you've got to then think, okay, well, that's great, and that will increase. But then what about, let's say Ethereum is the biggest one right now. So which cryptocurrencies are going to be using Ethereum that maybe could increase more than Ethereum? So, like, essentially looking at cryptocurrencies that are built on that network. So, and then what problems might they solve? So, for example, let me give you a specific example. You might want to look at lending cryptos, because if finance is going to change, you're going to want to look at cryptocurrencies that maybe lend money in the future. What about insurance? Insurance, is a massive industry, but like, if you kind of look at insurance stocks right now, they always go up. They always make money. Like, insurance companies always make money. So then you've got to think, well, okay, well, one of the risks of cryptocurrencies is somebody going to hack and take my cryptos? Am I going to lose my cryptos? So then you've got to think, okay, well, what cryptocurrencies are insuring cryptos? So maybe they're going to increase in value. So, and which ones have got the strongest team to build the best one, which one's going to be the best one. So this is all a fundamental approach. So that's the kind of research, and you want to kind of look at the white paper, you want to read about the team and where they are, what stage they are. And then you kind of want to look at, is there value in this cryptocurrency, or has it already gone up a lot? So the way you do that is not on price. You look at the market capitalization, which basically is a representation of how many coins have been mined times the price of the crypto. And that will give you an apple versus apple comparison between cryptocurrencies. So people sometimes are like, oh, that one's only 1 cent. But you can have a cryptocurrency that's 1 cent that's actually more expensive than something that's 300. That's not understood. So it's not about how cheap the price is. It's about relatively the market cap is what you need to understand, so you can compare one versus the other. And then what I'd recommend is you look at the category of, what's the leader in this crypto space. So if you're looking at whatever category, DeFi, whatever, you say, okay, who's the leader in this? And what's their market cap? And the one that you're interested in, what's their market cap? And then you divide the two numbers and you'll work out and say, okay, well, if this one kind of catches up with this one, there's a 10x or 20x or 30x opportunity potentially there. And you've kind of then built the fundamental part, and then you've identified a reasonable price prediction. So it's not just pie in the sky. You've come up with a reasonable price prediction. And then you move over and do the technicals. And then you go and find value areas where you can buy it, and then you come up with your strategies, whether it's dollar cost averaging, whether you want to trade it, whether you want to, look for value to buy, whatever it is that you're going to use. So it's kind of just combining all of that to make that decision. So I don't know if that kind of answers the question.
It does. I mean, I remember when I first started on the program and you showed me the categories. I didn't even know there were categories, and the categories are growing every month, it seems, at the moment. I think there was about 13, 14 categories, which just blew my mind, that there was all of these different ones. You've got ones in telecommunications, you've got ones in gaming, you've got ones in NFTs, you've got one in decentralized finance. It's really, really interesting. And I think when you start looking at it, you'll find areas or categories that you've got more of an interest in, and you can see a use for the coin. So it's really, really valuable stuff that he's just said there. So hopefully you can get the value from that. We've got Fred Martin in the house, aka Al Pacino. That's who we know.
Yes,
really.
Al.
Cheers for that one, Al. And also Paul Beads is just joined in. Afternoon. And we've had someone that came in from our email list. I just joined by the email link you sent me. Thank you very much. Click on the StreamYard link so we can see your name and your face, please. Like this fine young gentleman has. Carlos. Hi, guys. Hope you're having a great time. We're trying. Hope you're having a good time as well. Intraday question. So you've done all of that analysis. You've identified a coin. It's gone the way that you thought. You've made some moolah. Now, do you think it's worth converting your coins into USDT after you reach your daily targets?
Well, I mean, if you're trading futures, you do that anyway. So that's the one thing. So the way I like to do it, Carlos, is I prefer to do is to separate so I've got spot, which is basically no leverage, long-term holdings, what we call lifers in our private group, right? So the lifers, they're just there. So it doesn't matter what they're doing. There's no daily targets. They're just there to be held, whatever happens. And then you've got your margin. Now your margin trades are essentially similar to spot, but we're taking a bit more risk. We're borrowing some money to do that. And you're looking for generally the market to move higher. That's my personal approach. So I'm just saying, like, okay, I think this cryptocurrency is going up. I could just buy it with spot, but I'm actually just going to use a bit of leverage because I want to buy a little bit more of this crypto. And again, I don't set targets for that. But the futures account, well, I trade and I come out. And when you close the trade, it goes back to USDT. So Bitcoin, as the example this morning, caught the move, took the profit. As soon as you close it, it converts it back to USDT. So that's now then sitting in my account, and then I'm looking for something else to trade with that account. And then if I build that account up, I might transfer. Sometimes if I need to buy a coin and I don't have spare funds and I can't borrow them, I'll transfer them out of what I've made on my trading account and put them into the margin account or the spot account. So generally, I like to separate them. I just want to use the futures account for trading and the margin account and the spot account for long-term holdings. So if you do the same, then it will just convert it for you.
Awesome. So I I was trying to do a bit of multitasking. So people are asking for the link. So I've just posted it there. And no, didn't have time to click on it to register, as well as doing the show. So that's me. Here's the link to StreamYard. So just click on that. It will be worth it. And then every time you come back through, we'll pick it up. We'll pick your photos up, and we'll go from there. So hopefully that answered that question. Just going back to market cap, because I realized I kind of skimmed over that. Just to clarify, what does market cap mean? Because you explained it, but to just give a general overview of what it actually means in just a one-line synopsis. Because again, it's an area that people get confused at. They see 71 million or 10 trillion, and they're like, wow, what's this number? So if you can kind of just clarify that, because I know you've said certain bits around it, but I just want to nip that one off so that at least people understand that bit.
Well, when you're looking at stocks, it's basically the amount of stocks that I issued times the share price. And when you're looking at cryptos, cryptos aren't issued, they're mined. So it's the amount that have been mined times the price. So in other words, it's the amount of coins that are in circulation times the share price, times the crypto price. So it just gives you a quick glance as to essentially to be able to compare one versus the other. So that's kind of all it is. So by understanding that, it will tell you whether something is expensive or cheap relative to something else, rather than price, which actually price, if you don't factor in those two factors, price on its own is actually not that useful.
And that's where I used to get, the reason why I asked that is because it was one of the things that confused me as well. And I used to get, up until recently, I used to get confused thinking, oh, well, this one's only 5 cents and this one's $36. But then, like you say, you're looking at the 10x. So even if you're buying the one at 36 and it's going to 20x versus the one for 5 cents and it's only got room to 5x, which one's the better? The better deal?
I'll tell you an example. So I was looking at buying something this morning, and in the NFT category, and position number 5 is 0.008, and position number 15, which is the coin I was interested in, is $33.26. But that is actually cheaper than the 0.008 because it's the potential growth. Because it's cheaper, the market cap is lower. So yes, that 0.008, wherever it could go, wherever it's going to go, but there's no limit to price. Like, look at Bitcoin, it's 60 grand.
Exactly. And just to clarify, if you're still not quite getting it, like I wasn't, you put $1,000 into the one at $36, or you put $1,000 into the one at 0.08. The one at 0.08 might only 5x, so you've made 5 grand, which is great, or it may do anything. The one at 36 may have the market cap space to go up to, I don't know, $500. So you 15x'd your money.
Exactly.
So you've turned 5 grand into 75 grand. That's how you work it out. Well, that's part of the formula to working it out. So hopefully that makes sense. Another new user in the house, Kim. Thank you very much. Glad you're getting some value from it, Kim. And let's go into a bit more of a technical question now, because I think we're moving towards that space. And then we'll look at a trade setup that you've got for us. Do you recommend trading with margin on an exchange with a liquidation price? It seems highly dangerous unless there's a stop placed well above that liquidation price. The 10x that the exchanges offer and more, but that means only a 10% move can liquidate the position. Is that correct?
Put that question back up properly, so I can read it. Yeah, yeah. So the thing is you can. So if you're doing margin, if you're doing margin on Binance, let's be specific, and you're not doing the futures account, which is what I would recommend. I would recommend you do the futures account because with that account you can place your stop immediately. With a margin account, you can't do that. You have to get into the trade first, and then you can place a stop. It's much, the futures account is very much like any other FX broker, where you can actually understand exactly what you're risking, and you can just do everything beforehand. So that's the first thing. So I would do that. If you don't put a stop, yes, the liquidation price will be set. So what you can do is you can, let's say with a margin account, if you want to risk, I don't know, $500 on a cryptocurrency and you want to do it on margin, you transfer it to the isolated margin, and you should, we use a tracker sheet, and you should work out basically at what point you want that $500 to be lost. Like, what's your stop out, basically. So you could just transfer the amount of money you're willing to risk, and then you can use the margin to increase your position size based on essentially what the tracker sheet is telling you. So like you have to work out your kind of like, so what I do is like, I'll invest in something, and if I've only got like a few $1,000s in my USDT account, I don't want to, because I could then go and say, well, let's say I've got, I don't know, $2,000 in my USDT account, and I'm looking at 4 or 5 coins that I want to buy. Well, if I split that 2,000, I'm hardly going to buy anything. So what I would do is I'll work out, right, where's my kind of last point where I want to be out of these coins, like, so as an investment, not a trade, an investment. So if it goes down here, actually, I'll get out because I can probably buy it cheaper. It's like broken the trend line, it's broken support, whatever it is that I decide, that's where I want to be out. I'll work that out. I'll work out how many coins I need for the amount of money that I want to risk. And then I will be able to buy those coins by borrowing using margin. So I can do like a 10x. And that way I can take those trades and catch the upside move. That's why I've caught some amazing, XRP is one of my favorite trade setups because I posted it in the group. I bought it for 50, on average about 52 cents. I was looking at it just a minute ago. And, most of it, and it was just on borrowed money. Like, I didn't even use any of my own capital. That's the crazy thing about it. And I've paid about, basically, I've paid about $57 of interest. That's kind of all I've needed. And I've made over 30K on that trade, which is nuts, right? And I've not had to use any of my own money. So I had open equity, borrowed the money, bought it at the right price, and then it's gone. If I I wouldn't have been able to buy it if I was trying to use dollars, or I would have had to sell something else, but I just used borrowed money. So you got to be smart. If you're not, you got to be smart with margin. But saying it's dangerous or saying it's too risky or saying it's not that. It's just a lack of knowledge about how to use it properly. That's all. And I don't mean any disrespect, but that's all it is. It's just about understanding how to use it. And absolutely, you should be using it if you want to grow your account. Like, do you buy? Look, on a serious note, if you've got 500 grand in your bank and you want to buy a house that's 500 grand, would you go and spend 500 grand in your bank and buy it cash? It's absolutely the wrong thing to do. You go and borrow the money, right? Borrow the money from the bank, use only a small percentage of your 500 grand, and then So let's say you put 100 down. Now you've got 400 that you should be able to grow with other assets, rather than just sitting there in your. So the interest that you're paying on a mortgage, and it's similar to in cryptos, like the interest that I paid there is $57, but I've been able to then use that money to go and grow and add another 30K to my account, and that's literally all it is. And it's still very, very much risk managed. You're managing your risk. Like if it goes below a certain point, I'm out. It's like I'll pop up alerts, I'm out. So it's like the risk is minimal, but the upside is huge. And especially this works in cryptos, like because you are catching momentum trades, and once they go, sometimes they just don't stop going, like this one. So I'm still in it, by the way. I'm not really intending to sell it. I think I mentioned that last week or a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. There's quite a bit of headspace for that one, isn't there, that you're in. Okay, so look, love to keep chatting with you about this, but we've got only a few minutes left of this show, and I just want to jump in and just let's go over your shoulder if we can and look at something that you're looking at, maybe the next XRP, or just give us something to put a margin trade on, please, Mr. Demi.
No, that's not. I don't want I don't want anyone following my investment advice, which is not. It's not. No, but
when that used to be for sale, you used to charge a lot of money for that service. Let's just put it that way. So yeah. As with everything, do your own research. But obviously, this is what he's looking to trade. Just that's a legal disclaimer. We're not financial advisors, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I can just show you. Hold on, let me just do a screen share. One sec. One that I've taken. I posted it in the group this morning. It's not really moved much yet, but this is one that I'm actually in. Can you see my screen?
This was the one that you posted in this private group, right?
That's right, yeah. So I'll kind of just this is Dent. But there's so many, but like this is one example. I must say I also added a little bit of ADA around sort of 129. I'm very well positioned in this one anyway, but I did add a little bit. So this is the one that I'm looking at the moment, and I'll just kind of zoom in. So the first thing is very, very simply is that firstly, I like this crypto. I think it's got some upside, and I like where it's at on the daily. Why? Because it spent a lot of time here. You know, it spent a lot of time there, and then it broke out, and it's almost just kind of coming back and saying hello again. So old resistance becoming support. So that's the first thing that I like. And then I just looked at the hourly chart. And there's a few things that I like here. The first thing is we have a stochastic RSI that's oversold. That's nice, you know, that's a kind of bonus. But then we have, you know, a really nice area of support that the market is bouncing. And so I've bought some here, not far, I mean, just slightly lower than where we are right now. And I'm basically looking for this falling wedge to break down. You can also just, if you kind of want to do this as a trade, you can also see that you've got a bit of a hidden channel in there as well. So if I just make these colors the same, so you can kind of see. So from a trading point of view, you might kind of want to look at this as a channel play and then target up here. And if we're going to target up here, what I like to do is I like to find a level that's horizontal. So let's take, so like, look, you've got old support there. That's a nice level there, right? So you just kind of, you don't want to go too far up. And then I would use order flow as well. And so that there is a really nice target. You don't need to have much risk on. You can kind of see that, right? It kind of takes out these lows. But just give it a little bit of room. Give it a little bit of breathing space because cryptos like to spike. And you can use order flow as well just to kind of find out the exact price. I can't load it up here, I won't load it now, but and also it can change. So you want to use order flow and just kind of see where the supply and the demand is. If there's a lot of supply, around these areas, just kind of go just below that supply level, and then and that looks like a really nice trade. And if you like this for the longer term, obviously you can just use this as your buy and then hope that it's going to break now and not going to do another retracement down. But by trading it, you bank your profits, by which you can then go and use elsewhere. By investing in it, obviously it just ties up your funds. But yeah, it looks like a decent setup. It's starting to if we go to the 15-minute chart as well, it's still a decent value here. I mean, it's basically in our just hitting our value line there. So yeah, let's kind of see. I mean, you can see now it's starting to just create a little bit of a double bottom here. So like I said, I'm only in around here, basically somewhere there. So it's still available if it kind of fits with your own trade plan. And as I said, I mean, I'm kind of using the profits that I made on Bitcoin this morning, and then just moving money around. So I've closed that trade on Bitcoin. I've caught the move, and this one now could be the next one that goes. So yeah, that's kind of about it, really. To be honest with you, Gav.
Awesome. Well, look, I am probably going to say what other people are thinking. Let's close the show there so that we can go and open up our futures account or our margin account and go and put some put some money on Dent. I actually like that one. I was in it and this is where the experience comes in. I was in it at 1.6 when it spiked up to 2.2. I thought it might rip, and then it's come back down on me, and I was like, okay, well, I'll see where it goes. And that one's now closed out. So I'm looking to get back in because I believe in the project for this one. Telecommunications, very good website. They've got a lot of backing already. And this is one with a good market cap. So great spot, Mr. Demi. I haven't tipped my hat to you for a while. So thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you are getting some value from this show. And that's it. That's it, guys. We've gone through what you need to know, some of the basics, a bit more advanced things. We've answered some of your technical questions, what to do to get out of the trade if you do and when you do make some money. And we've shown you over the shoulder of what a professional trader is looking for when he's looking to invest in crypto coins. We will be doing a webinar. It's either going to be next week or the week after. Just finalizing a couple of things on that. So we'll keep you posted on that for all the new people that are interested. We're going to give you some chance to basically get some more information. And we're going to do this, but over like an hour and a half. And if it's in front of you to come on the program, like some of the other guys, then great. If not, then you've got even more information in your tool belt to tackle the world of cryptocurrencies. So hopefully that sounds like a fair deal. If there's anything else, any other questions you've got, let us know now. Otherwise, it will be time for me to play a song. Anything you want to say, Boo Boo, before we bounce?
I'm not Boo Boo. No, all good. All good. I think I'm enjoying the time more than the evenings, not having my kids screaming in the other side, in the other room, like for me to put her to bed. So I think it's better for us. Hopefully it's not too restrictive for people, but they can always watch the recording. It seems like people are still here with us whilst, even lockdowns opened up in the UK and people are still here. So that's good.
Fantastic. We love having you with us, guys. We do very much appreciate your support. Thank you very much for watching. That is us out. Have a great day wherever you are, and we'll see you soon.
Mi dirán que versión